What's up, amazing people? My name is Anne Murugi and I'm proudly Kenyan. You're listening to For Better 254, a space for young Kenyans to learn and learn with the name of bringing forward a better Kenya for us and for generations to come. What's good, y'all? How you are doing? I hope you're okay. I trust you're good. You had a good week or weekend. You know, things are working out for you. But in case that's not the case, because we know how life can get sometimes, I have a little mantra for you today that might be useful. And it goes something like this: I am deserving and I know it will get better eventually. You could pause this and affirm that for yourself and believe it, hata kama it's low-key, because guys, there is power in words you tell yourself. Karibuni to today's episode. Immense gratitude to all the support on my previous episodes. Everyone listening, I appreciate 101. So far we've discussed the system. Hopefully from the last episode you understand what all of it means and are getting an idea of inequality and the need to stand against it. Today I decided to bring the topic closer to us and talk about what I would consider the biggest enemy of our progress as a country and as a continent. And you might be wondering, what is that? And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about inferiority complex. Yes, today we are talking about inferiority complex. I'll start by defining the word. Inferiority complex is whereby we have internalized the white supremacy and the fast approaching Asian supremacy system. And so we act indeed as inferiors and allow the external people to be the superior, the all-knowing, and so our success is measured by their success. In Kiswahili, Kujidunisha. So you might be wondering, okay, so how did this happen? Historically, we are told, or rather, we are lied to, that when white men first arrived in Africa, they found uncivilized, uncultured, backwards people, some say living in bushes, and there was no hope for them, hence they called us the Dark Continent, and apparently they were the saviors who were coming to help us. But contrary to this history written in the supremacist system, it is believed that when the Portuguese first arrived in Africa, they were amazed by the amount of civilization in this continent. For instance, the Roseville Kingdom in the south of Africa, the large coast of Cape Verde, which is where they attacked, were very much splendid, an organized ruling system, strong people, the people had good relationships amongst themselves, authentic forms of worship. The Gema danced around Mount Kenya to their god. They had the Mugumo tree. People rarely got sick and had herbal men and women who could treat any disease in their community. They had food and resources in abundance. The kingdom had their queens and kings draped in gold and many, many, many more other civilized ways of lifestyle. To be honest, if you go to a place and you're wondering, you're there thinking, hey, I'll conquer here, then you go and find this kind of civilizations, you're threatened. And so this is exactly what happened to the white people. They were threatened by this, and the best way that they could defeat us to get what they came to do was by brainwashing us, by telling us that our beliefs and values are wrong, by helping us ignore our beliefs and values, by labeling them as wrong, as backward, and even as evil. And if you look today, it's exactly what's happening with the Chinese. And if you look at how inferiority complex is exposing itself today, it's through the brainwash, which is very much evident in so many things in our lives, starting with how we look and carry ourselves. We were told our skins are too dark and so less beautiful. The lighter skin communities were favored, apparently, as they resembled the superiors in quote. And that was the birth of colorism, as I explained in the previous episode. Look at how everyone wants to be associated with light-skinned girls or boys and rarely the darker complexion. Well, that seems to be changing with trends, but it's still very much rooted in us. Explains all the skin bleaching products sold to us, because this superior guy said you're black and so you're ugly. I'll tell you a very sad story. Personally, in my first years of high school, I said I would be married to a white person. There's nothing wrong about being married to a white person. But the reasoning I had was that when I'm married to this white man, I'm able to have kids that can be beautiful and have this curly hair. Right now, when I think about that, guys, I honestly cringe, because what the hell? This whole hatred to our own appearance starts from so early, and everything around us seems to support it, because damn right, even my friends, if you ask them back then, they would say the same thing too. The brainwash you all. It's time to know that the truth is your superiority, the level of beauty, your smartness, your braveness is unique to you, and it shouldn't be defined by someone based on a trend or skin color. They said our hair was too nappy and our hairstyles were backward, and so we needed chemicals to relax them, to straighten them. Gives an idea as to why neatness in schools all over the country is described as when your hair is in a ponytail, pumped to look straight, and if you dare show up in kinky hair, my friend, you'll be told to go back home. It was in the news, yeah? A kid was told to go back home because of the hair. We don't want shaggy hair around here because it means you're uneducated and impolite. That's what they say. Last time I went to do my hair, I was wearing my afro. And right outside the salon door, there was this man who was looking at me really weirdly. And in my mind, I was like, what's up with this man? What have I done to him? Anyway, I didn't ask or do anything. I went in, got my hair done. After it was finished, this same man was there. So he walks to me and says, hiyo nywele yako ilikuwa shaggy sana, lakini sasa unakaa kama mtu serious. For those who don't understand, he said my afro was uncultured and whatever extensions I got made me look more educated. The audacity, guys. I was shocked. Legit, I felt like I could just undo my hair just to prove to him that his words weren't a compliment in any way or form. But then it hit me. We have honestly been mentally colonized, and I can't even blame him. Because if I look at the pictures of my grandparents or older pictures, these people had afros and these amazing hairstyles and fashion sense. I mean, they wore mini dresses and they were in their element. But a few years later, with colonization, our televisions were filled with women with straightened hair and for men, short hair that was categorized as educated and civil. Having kinky hair had to be brought back as a trend for us to recognize its worth. Which, to be honest, even for most of us Africans, we still look at it like backwardness, like this man who I met at the salon. Same thing with body shapes. Our blessed body shapes and features was described as too fat and sexualizing, and so they were wrong. But for Christ's sake, it's God-given, it's Allah-given, we have no control over it. But just like the hair, we internalized it. I remember in my high school, I refer so much in my high school, guys, be ready. I remember in my high school, several people hated their bodies and wanted to be slim and skinny. I mean, we were 14-year-olds. Why should such things as body size matter? But can you blame us? It's the slavery of our brains. All the shows on TV we watched that weren't African had all these skinny white girls with sass, and so we wanted to be like them. Look at the Barbie dolls, how kids choose these dolls over any other kind of doll. And how teens exclaimed with white boys in series, everyone who watched Vampire Diaries, Twilight Saga, all those things. Enforced values by the system, because they are skinnier and so in their supremacy, so should everyone else, unless they say otherwise with their media trends. Which these trends, to be honest, are bringing about concepts such as body shaming, as we are clearly seeing with all these challenges and things we are doing online. Second way is in the concept of who deserves what and who doesn't. Before colonization, as Africans, crime wasn't a thing because you never lacked as a society cared for everyone. In some communities, land was even communally owned. We never had crazy people walking around because they had ways to ensure mental health was taken care of. With white supremacy, we started looking down upon each other. Crime became a thing. We started killing, fighting each other to get food and basic needs. We stopped caring for each other. The term when wazimu came up, you remember reading Kidagaa Kimamwazea, right? Because at this point, the system had divided us to regions, and we were promised only those who were learned and supported the whites had a chance at success. The politicians' mess also began. Today, that's clear with what I described in the previous episode again as classism. If you haven't listened to that episode, by the way, give it a listen. And any other episode I have. Come on, guys, come on. Anyway, see how we treat those poorer than us, those kids in the streets, how we look at them, the concept of house helps, the mentally ill people we say were cheesy and laugh at them. our drive to achieve the biggest and do whatever it takes, even when it's immoral, like the white man and Asian are saying through the media. That's our dilemma. And we can fix it if only we choose to be Africans. If only we choose to support our own, build black lives, build back the lives of our kingdoms, where scarcity and greed were vocabularies. Further today, we look down upon each other to the extent that anything coming from the continent is diminished. Look at the creatives we support. A majority of us know so much of the outside world, but little of ours. Our musicians are looked down upon unless they are placed in the world map, which, don't forget, is the white supremacy world map. People with amazing idea in Kenya and the continent are not naturally given a chance by the citizens, but anything backed by a white person is highly praised. According to us, our fashion style ain't cool enough unless it's supported by white folks. Look at our language projection. If you speak plain English with your Kalenjin, Luo, Masai, Digo accent, it's something to laugh at. But with your Spanish, with your French accent, it's apparently sexy and attracting. Guys, so as we learn Mandarin, as you all learn Mandarin, ask yourself, what's wrong with learning Toluo, with learning Kamba, with learning Masai, with learning Kikuyu? As you prefer your private means to public means because your life status has improved, you're promoting the white supremacy and the Asian supremacy, where your people will always be undermined at the expense of fitting into a system not meant for you and doesn't take you far. Look up the richest African, nowhere close to the richest white man. Are you gonna sit down and tell me that we aren't learned enough and that's why it's not with them at the top? I tend to differ. It's because we are trying so hard to fit in a system that has constantly oppressed us rather than formulating a system that works for us. And not a system that is as discriminatory as their system. Because that is what Africa is. Africa is diverse and of abundance that we need to put together and create the magic. We have to realize it here and go for it. Inferiority complex has been planted on us through colonization and actively today by neo-colonization. It enslaved our minds, where we can't even think of what is ours as great. We don't see value in what we have unless it's a trend. That's why our leaders, products of colonialism, are comfortable taking money to sell our resources at the expense of the well-being of their citizens. Because they see no value in what we have. Or rather, they are puppets to the system. So they know our value, but they are puppets to the system. We are a country, a continent, made of amazing people with amazing talent that don't necessarily need to compare with the white man or saving from the Asian, with resources foreigners will always wish they had. And it's true, we are behind civilization. Again, civilization is a white man concept, with the illiteracy level. But if you ask me, I think that's a good thing. Because we still have time to create a Kenya, an African continent that is for us. It's not influenced by external factors, but that which is true to the continent. If only, as Bob Marley said, we emancipate ourselves from mental slavery. We start supporting the people in the village because, for your information, you in the city with your place in Karen, that can easily be taken away. But your grandmother's house in the village, it will always be hers. The African diaspora. Africa is more than animals. There are people back there. If you want to be associated with Africa, let it not be for the animals only, but with your hand in supporting these people to free themselves, in curating a self-satisfactory continent. Then you can freely and securely enjoy the animals without thinking of how unsafe Africa is. Kenyans and Africans, I'm hoping this episode reminds you to look at yourself as capable beings, worthy of a good life, not measured by white standards or any other race, but by what is duly right and what fits, and that which fits the people's lifestyles. And stop supporting these racist systems and trends. Hold your leaders accountable for your fellow Kenyans, not only for you. Remember, private means will never solve public means. Young people, I'm counting on you. I'm counting on us. As I talk to you, I'm also talking to myself. We have the best chance at learning and unlearning what our parents knew. We can make Kenya shine, Africa shine, once we liberate ourselves. Because the fear of the white supremacy and Asian supremacy is that they are well aware of the damage of colonization. And they believe we will never be free because they know what they did has impact to so many of our generations. But just like our forefathers, I think we are capable of giving ourselves freedom, of giving ourselves liberation. And the right time is now. But are you ready? Are we ready? That's it from me. Peace and blessing to you all. Until next time, remember to be a better Kenyan, seeking a better Kenyan. Bye.